My name is Anika Jack. Tonight I'm going to share with you some reason why I believe that authentic assessment is the only appropriate method to use for young children. Before I go into my points, I would like you to tell me, when you hear assessment, what comes to mind? Tests, evaluation, judgment. Assessment is what you make it to be. The Glossary of Education Reform 2015 defined assessment as the various methods used to measure, evaluate, or document the academic readiness, the learning progress, skill acquisition, or educational needs of all students. We are required to look at assessment in the early childhood education. You may ask, can we really assess these children, and if yes, how is that possible? We are quite aware that children cannot successfully take part in pencil paper made tests. Generally, they do not have the attention span for such form of assessment. But yes, we have to assess these children. We have to know if our method of teaching is appropriate, or if the children in our care are actually learning. Bagnato 2007 stated that assessment plays an important role in the delivery, design, and evaluation of early childhood education program. Therefore, for us as practitioners to develop and expand our program, we must assess the children in our care. You will then ask, what is the best approach to assess these children? And I will tell you, authentic assessment. Authentic assessment is also referred to as alternative, direct, and performance assessment. It is a form of assessment that requires students to perform tasks that are applicable to their life. It requires meaningful application of knowledge and skill. Some forms of authentic assessment include teacher observation, oral interview, portfolio, storytelling, and even performance tasks. Some benefits of authentic assessment may be: 1. It promotes higher order thinking. It applies to real life experiences. It caters to all students' differences, their learning style, their culture, their background. This form of assessment uses students' work, samples of student work, and it does not require teachers to disrupt the students' activities. It is said that authentic assessment is the only appropriate method to use in the early childhood classroom, and I am totally in agreement with this. I'm going to share with you 3 points why I agree with this statement. 1. Authentic assessment reflects students' motivation, attitudes, learning, and achievement on the classroom activities. Simple. Authentic assessment allows students to be involved in the assessment process, and because of such, these children become motivated to be a part of the class and the activities, which results in a controlled student behavior and encourages positive attitudes, and then this promotes better performance in class. Young children have very short attention span, and involving them in every aspect of their learning is going to help them to develop in many areas. As opposed to not involving them, they will become bored, uninterested, and very disruptive. Secondly, authentic assessment will help teachers to capture the students' thinking and learning process. Walls stated that in order to capture a child's thinking, we need to pay close attention to the child's motivation and disposition to learning, their social, emotional, language, cognitive, and creative development, and their reflective response. Have children developed the capacity to sequence and order and sort things at concrete level? Can they ask questions and express the needs to find out more? As children, as early child practitioners, we need to know these things. We need to know what level of thinking our children are. Are they egocentric thinkers, or have they graduated from that? Are they critical thinkers? And we cannot assess these things in pencil paper made tests. We have to assess children in different areas to know their thinking capacity, their thinking level. As well as also, when we collect information about these things, about their thinking level, we will then be able to design the curriculum, activities, and even select materials that can be challenging to the students' thinking level. We will not want to provide things where children would not be able to use their thinking or their mind. 3. It takes into account the whole child and focuses on all aspects of development. As a teacher uses the form of assessment to evaluate the child, she gets to understand the whole child. Authentic assessment helps you to access information from every area of the child. It provides adequate information not only from the school but also from their homes. Therefore, at an early age, teachers can design programs or activities that can help children and parents who may really need the assistance in these areas. They can also help teachers to discuss or to discover underlying problems that may influence or affect children at a later stage. With this information, teachers will be able to implement early intervention programs. Early childhood programs are also designed to help children develop in all developmental areas. So early childhood practitioners would like to know if a child are making progress in the emotional, cognitive, physical, social, or spiritual domain. And how can we be sure that progress is taking place? But through authentic assessment. This form of assessment helps you to assess all areas of a child's life. Through observation, we can identify areas of social development, but we cannot do such in written exam. Authentic assessment has been proven beneficial to early childhood classroom. It benefits teachers, parents, and mostly the students. This form of assessment provides teachers and parents with realistic results of students' development and learning. It helps teachers to assess what the children can do independently as well as with assistance from their peers as well as adults. Authentic assessment provides information that helps teachers to identify classroom activities and adult interaction which will promote child engagement and maximize the children learning. As a teacher, I will continue and encourage teachers to use authentic assessment.